You're good to go. This is Jackie, and I'm here with Kevin of This Wildlife. Day 3 of Riot Fest. Your first Riot Fest, but definitely not your first festival.
Yeah.
We met a long time ago at Warped Tour. I'll have to check
Whatever
the date.
year it was,
I was
yeah.
going to say it was a long time ago. A tour like Warped Tour specifically, how did it help kind of boost your career and boost this band's career and get things going?
Warped Tour is cool because I think a lot of people go there. It's kind of like a rite of passage for a lot of people, and like that's the people's first festival they go to. And so I think the average attendee at Warped Tour is really open to checking out new music, whereas maybe some of the more established festivals like Coachella and stuff like that are A, harder to get into, and B, I think the fan base is really different and they're not necessarily there to check out new music. So the amount of discovery that happens at Warped Tour, I think, is like unlike any other festival.
I think they just, they paid too much money for Beyonce and stuff like that. Your newest single, You Changed Everything, came out last month. Why didn't this song make it to Petaluma?
It was recorded during the same session as Petaluma, but in the writing process, we kind of just decided that we wanted to do a full horn arrangement on it with stand-up bass and piano, and we just felt like it was an odd man out on the record. And I wouldn't even call it a B-side because we thought it was one of the strongest songs from that batch of writing, but we thought that in the track listing it just didn't fit, and the only way that we were going to put it on there was if it was at the very end. And like I said, we loved the song, and we thought that would be a disservice to the song to put it at the end of the album and kind of just like shoehorn it on. So we thought, hey, let's make this this release an island and just have it be its own thing. That way it's not judged in the context of a record, but it's just judged as a song. And when you sit on something for a long time, you start to almost wonder, like, is this as good as we thought it was? Because I've heard it a million times now, and Anthony was actually really worried. He's like, nobody's gonna like this song. He goes, it's so ridiculous, nobody's gonna like it. And I was like, you love the song, I love the song. I was like, I think people will get it. And the response has been so good. So we've been playing it on this whole tour. It's been great.
Speaking of that response, who came up with the treatment for the video?
I don't know. We always argue about who comes up with ideas because we always forget. We always have wacky ideas. But in the studio, our producer said, once we had the arrangement in there with the horns and it was like starting to get jazzy, he goes, this sounds like elevator music. And we were like, huh. And we just remembered this elevator prank video, this guy who dresses up as, I think it's Scorpion or Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat and scares people in elevators.
Yeah.
And we love those stupid videos. We'll watch them all the time. We're like, what if we did a music video like a prank elevator video, but instead of pranking people, we're just serving them drinks and playing songs.
What was the weirdest reaction that you recall from that day?
Well, what we didn't realize at the time is we tried to never stop playing because we didn't want to ruin a take. So if somebody was in there, they'd be like, this is awesome, who are you guys, how long have you been playing, blah, blah, blah. We wouldn't say anything back. We would just keep playing. So most of the reactions were, people were just like, okay, these are just robots. What is going on here? So it was very, very awkward the entire time.
I'm good at awkward. That's kind of my middle name. How is songs off of Petaluma as well as You Changed Everything kind of an evolution since Pop Shove It, that old EP, ages and hence?
Well, obviously with Pop Shove It, it was like a full band recording, and I don't know, I think my voice has always been better suited to softer music. I always wanted that burly, manly, powerful voice. I want to sound like Dustin Kensrue from Thrice. My favorite singer, I wish I could sound like that. Trust me, I've tried in the car, I've tried in the shower. It will never happen. And so I finally accepted that, hey, this is my strength and I'm going to put this forward into our songwriting. And that's when things started to click, and that's when we developed our acoustic sound.
Good, no offense. I agree with you. I agree with you. So are there plans to follow up Petaluma? Is there a certain pressure, whether it comes from within you or sort of just the culture of the music scene where we are very, what's the word? We're always looking for the next new thing.
Yeah, I think attention span's shorter than it's ever been, and I think back in the day, bands would spend 3 or 4 years touring on one album, and I think those days, for most bands at least, are over. I mean, there's the exception to the rule. You could be brand new and wait 8 years if you want, but for a band like us, we want to be putting out music more often. It's fun for us. I think when you release music and it's fresh, that's when you're most excited to be on the road playing, and I don't want to be out on the road playing songs that are playing only songs that are 2, 3, 5 years old. We want there to be fresh blood and fresh life into the set all the time. So we're already in the process of writing, and I think the last few records that we made them during the winter when we're not out touring. and I think that'll be the same here. So this winter we'll go back in and make a new record.
Speaking of touring, how do you create a set list for, let's say, Riot Fest versus a tour? Do you change things up at all? Do you kind of target the audience that you know you're going to have? Where, Riot Fest, you have a wide collection of listeners versus a tour where they're coming specifically to see you.
Yeah, I think we call it kind of trimming the fat, but we'll take out the songs that are a little slower paced or songs that are really long. We'll take out of the set, and we'll try to keep the energy up. At least for a band like us, energy is hard to come by in some ways, And so now we kind of favor in the live set for a festival show, we'll favor the songs that have drums or songs that have different instrumentation to keep the flow moving and keep different visual things happening on stage. So we have a setup now where Anthony will play a full drum set, and then we take that apart, and then I kick the kick drum while playing, and he has a hi-hat and a tom with a pedal on it. So we like to just keep things flowing and moving on stage, and that's what we focus on, the songs that utilize that.
I mean, it's a benefit of having two drummers on the same stage.
Yeah, it's the oddest thing. Yeah, the two drummers that started an acoustic band is the dumbest idea ever that somehow worked.
Exactly. So what's up next for you after Riot Fest?
We're out on the middle of a tour right now called the Little Light Tour, which is like a small club tour. We're going to a lot of smaller cities that we haven't been to in the last year and a half. This is actually our 4th U.S. tour in about 14 months since we put out this record. And it's just, we keep getting offers to go back out, and we're never guys to turn down any opportunity, and it's been cool. We're not doing it at the festivals that we're playing on this routing, but we have a really cool stage production where we have a lighthouse on stage and a big sailboat that's all lit up, and we wear kind of sailors shirts and stuff, and it's been so much fun. I geek out on production and the art and stuff like that, so this has been such a fun tour.
Well, stay tuned for much more from This Wildlife. This is Jackie, thanks to Chorus FM and In the Key of Change. Check them on tour. All right, let me grab a quick picture. We'll call it a day.